Hello, good evening. Welcome to .programming.blogspot.com. Today I will talk about how to add item of drop-down list at index 0. I mean to say first position of drop-down list just after binding the drop-down list items. So first of all, add a web form in the Solution Explorer, or you can say your project. Now add a drop down list at design page. Now bind the drop down list with the SQL data source, or you can also bind it with the SQL connection class at the code files. In this tutorials I will give you a SQL connection class data source. Create a connection with the SQL connection class and bind the drop down list with the SQL data reader class. So first of all, add a drop down list in the page. Actually I add the SQL data source for taking the connection string actually only. Okay, that's copy this connection string from the SQL data source context wizard. Now remove this after copy the connection string. You can also save your connection string in the web.config file. Okay, now add a drop down list and bind it at code file. So let's to open your code, I mean to say your code behind file, which is defaultly added with your page. Now in the page load method, when first time your page is load, drop down list bind with some items. So check the page is post back or not. Whether is page is post back, then does not show, that does not add multiple items. If is not passed back, then bind the drop down list with the database tables. So I have a database table already in the server explorer in the database. So first of all, add a database and add one table in the database. Okay, so create a connection by using the SQL connection class, and actually SQL connection class is exist in the system.data.sql client, and that is already learned in previous video tutorials. You I think you know very well if you see my video tutorials. So the state of the connection is open defaultly, and also create a object of SQL command class to for communicate with the table. So create a command text that is select. I want to retrieve item from the table, and the table exists in server explorer, that is user table. Yeah, user table. Here I want to retrieve the all item, or you can say your all columns from the user table. Command.connection is gone, and SQL data reader, actually here is my data source is reader. So command.execute reader is a method through which we can execute all the dequal statements. Okay, that's I meant to say here we use execute reader, that's I mean to use select command. Here we if I used execute none query, that I mean use DML statements of SQL. Okay, so drop down list one data source, and the data source is reader. So assign it, and assigned the text and the value field to the drop down list. So the text field is username and the value field is ID, that is uniquely identified in the table. So the text field is refer to username, that's a column name. Please make sure your username is the in the double quotation is matched with your field name of the table. Okay, so data value field is id. Okay, now bind the drop down list with the bind command, data bind command, data bind method. Now after that, so first of all see your output that is successfully bind or not. If your drop down list is bind successfully, then you can add uh, item at first position or any other positions if you want to uh, give in the insert method. So items provide a insert method, and the insert method overlaid with the four multiple parameters. Okay, so wait for some times to see your output. Yeah, that's fine. uh, the table items, or you can say the username, is given under the drop down list. Yeah, when we down, then number of item is appeared in drop down list. So now how to add item after bind the drop down list at first positions? That's means of drop down list dot items dot insert method, through which we can add item at first position of drop down list. Okay, here we add index integer that is overloaded with the two items. That's fine. Here we add the apple at 0 position, index number 0. So apple is 0 position, 0 and 1 positions takes jk title, jk text. You can also use the list item for giving the value to the apple. So here new list item, I want to assign the text as well as value. So use list item class apple, and the price of the apple is, assign the value field, that is 5. That's fine. So thank you very much for watching this video tutorials. Please keep watching my all other video tutorials which is related to ASP.NET. Thank you very much.